Okay, on this steeper stuff here, you kind of want to push it in. Basically, this level, we're filling in wire holes and any of the groove that's left. Some of these places get pretty flat up at the front and the top edge, you see. So you really got to be careful that you're I almost said that magic word. You have to be careful that you stay inside your lines, that the fillet stays centered in the groove. You can have a little bit of wavering, but you don't want to have any great big huge S-curves. Like I said, kind of push it into the groove so it doesn't go rolling off to the bottom on you. This area here will go a lot quicker because the fillet isn't quite as deep. I have on another boat where I had a fairly flat, I cut a template on my scraping tool to put a little hump. Gave a little more thickness to the fillet, but I don't think it's necessary because all the glass that this gets will give it all the strength that it needs. I haven't had one of these seams pop or crack yet on any of the boats that I've built, and I've been manhandling them somewhat in the water. Okay, I've got the all the seams done. It took me about about 4 hours. If I would have started in the morning, I might have gone and put some tape on it. The center seams are starting to firm up, but like I said before, I've had problems putting tape on wet, uncured EzFillet or even any wood epoxy mixture and causing ripples in it. So I'll just wait. It'll cure overnight, and I'll be out here tomorrow and I'll give it a good sand down, and then we'll start putting the tape on. So then once the tape gets done, but when you get done, Costco has these like 2-gallon white vinegar jugs. It's always nice to clean your hands and change your gloves often. I probably went through 3 pairs of gloves today between rips and just getting sticky on everything. So clean your hands with some vinegar, clean off your tools with some vinegar, and then they'll last longer. You'll have to give them a little bit of sanding too when you get done, or before you start again, because there may be some little particles of epoxy on the edges. So okay, we're going to clean up the fillet edges now and clean up the surface of them. We're going to use a couple tools. One's just a regular small chisel, and the other one is a cabinet scraper. And then we're going to use the chisel to go along and remove any little ridges that you weren't able to pick up with your the wide metal scraper. When we're going along and we leave windrows behind and we pull off the excess, you're going to leave some little things behind, and it's a lot easier to take them off with the chisel than it is with the cabinet scraper. And you're going to, I wear a glove just to keep the blisters down, but you're going to come along with a cabinet scraper and make little up strokes. Little down strokes, and then you'll see when you pull your tool away if you have a Bernie stripe. That's another tool. or that could be a whole complete video, is how to sharpen your burnishing, or put a burnishing edge on your cabinet scraper. So let me zoom in to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, we're going to come in here, scrape up some edges with the chisel. I've already done this, so you're not going to get a whole lot. Can you see that? No. But that's the technique. You're going to come along with the chisel and then scrape up anything that ridges along the edge. Then you're going to come in with the cabinet scraper. Scrape up. I've already done this about a day after I had filleted the boat, and it was still semi-green, so it was easy to scrape up these crumbs. But now they're brittle and dry, so they're cured. You can see I'm starting to get a little bit of wood fiber along the edge. Don't stay inside the lines. If you get outside the lines, you may screw up the surface of the plywood and give it a rough texture that will show up through the paint. So keep your motions hopefully limited between the two inside lines. Okay, just to let you know what I'm talking about when I was doing the, this is probably going to be out of focus, but this is the little plastic cap I switched over to create the radius that I wanted. And I'm going to drag it down, but you get down to a certain point when the hull starts changing. Right about in here, it's too wide. So in here I changed from my plastic bottle cap over to my smaller 1-inch spatula, and I moved it down, used it until I got down to about in there, where I switched over to my wider spatula and finished on out with it. So you're going to do some transitioning. Same with the stern. The transition point was coming up here into the stern with these wider pieces, and then coming into here. So you saw me when I was switching over to go from the 1.5 inch down to the inch, and then you follow that on around and up. So these are little spots where you're going to have to use a little bit of manual labor to get them to flow in right. But when we get done with putting the glass on it, they'll expand over it, and you can sand it down a little bit better. I wouldn't worry about coming back and filling it again, because if there is a void there under the glass tape when we put it in, the epoxy will settle down through the tape and then fill it in. So let me vacuum it out, and we're done with this. When we finish up this scraping out the hull, you're going to find that the hull has gotten out of balance again because of all the work you're putting into it. I mean, it was back and forth for me. So I've got it back into position again. I've got it leveled down and tied down again. And the next thing, and also I finished, after I vacuumed it out, I went with my little foxtail dust broom and then swept out the inside, and I still got a little pile of dust that you get out of the little cracks and pores of the wood fillet. So that's all up and it's clean. It was squared up again, so it's too late in the day to start on the taping, because that's going to be probably another 4 to 5 hour job, because we got 2 layers of tape to do, and I'll do it in one after the other on top. And then there's some interleaving on the ends, which I'll discuss when we start on the taping. So that's it for this segment. The next thing we'll do is we'll start taping it, and then the rails come after that.